Okay, so welcome to Long Island Nightlight Interviews, LINL Radio. I am Lou, and I am pleased to be with you and with these two gentlemen today. All the way from the UK, I have Adam Brown and Ed Cesar. They've got this project that is really intriguing to me, so I'm looking forward to chatting with them about it. I was checking out their Instagram, and their music is described as alternative slash sci-fi slash conceptual. So I definitely want to hear all about that today because it's definitely, like I said, it's intriguing. It's something of particular interest to me, who grew up as a sci-fi fan, and I want to see like how all that ties in with their most recent single and their upcoming single. So I just want to introduce the Lionel audience to Adam Brown and Ed Cesar. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me here today.
Thanks for having us, Lou.
Hello, thank you. It's
Yeah,
great to be here.
you're very
Pleasure.
welcome. I appreciate you guys. I connected with these guys through Instagram, and I just keep mentioning that because that's a hint to anybody who's listening or watching to go check out their Instagram. You simply Adam Brown and Ed Cesar. If you put that into your search, you're going to find them.
Don't
So you
forget
can
to like and subscribe while you're there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, so can you guys tell me a little bit about that alternative slash sci-fi slash conceptual angle that you have with your music, and then maybe we could talk, lead into the first single that you guys have published.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, crack on, crack on.
So it's a long story, but we've been friends since we were in, well, what you guys would call high school together. So we met when I was 16 and Ed was 18. I really liked Ed because he had ID, so he could get beers. And I haven't been able to shake him off since. No. So we did some music together back in the day. We lived with each other for a period of time. When we left school, and we'd always wanted to get a band off of the ground, but for one reason and another, it just didn't really work out. And but we did a lot of writing when we were living together, and for whatever reason, we decided to come back together a couple of years ago and try and actually do some recording together and put a project together. So that sort of ties into what we wanted to do, because we always had this idea of doing this album set in the future. And it was all to do, we were very inspired by the film like Artificial Intelligence, which is a adaptation of the short story Super Toys Last All Summer Long. We were really inspired by that movie, and so we'd had this idea to make this album and never quite got round to it, although we did start to sort of put some vague ideas down. And yeah, we decided to come back together and actually do it. So we've been in the studio for the last year, 2 years.
Yeah,
Ed, you might have to help me out.
On and off, yeah. Maybe 2 years on and off.
Yeah, 2 years on and off. We are separated by some distance, so it's been a logistical challenge to bring it all together. We've had various co-collaborators. We've got producer Adam Sedgwick and my ex-boss Martin Wright, who's played drums with Ronnie Wood. So we got him on the record as well. So we sort of brought it all together, and while we were making the album, Ed sort of said, "Oh, what about these two songs?" Because we had all of our songs in a basket, if you like, and Ed said, "Hey, what about these ones?" And Silver, which we'll get onto, is one that we used to play together back in when we were in
25 years ago. So
25 years ago.
That's interesting. It's a take on the future from 25 years ago. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. We sort of reworked some of the lyrics. We worked a bit on the arrangement together, didn't we, Ed? Just to kind of fit something a bit newer. And we both decided, hey, let's just put these two singles out. We wanted to have a bit of a balance between like the rockier side of what we can do and then something a bit more gentle that was done on piano.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's been nice having this balance between things that we worked on 25 years ago that started off the whole idea, when we were watching sci-fi films, reading sci-fi books, getting into this idea of this city in the future, and then kind of putting it together, but bringing new ideas into it, you know, and then and writing more together as well, which we hadn't really done for a long time.
Yeah, and I think what shocked me as well was actually putting these songs on the table, that the foundations of them were put together, like Ed said, 25 years ago, and actually going like, how does this stack up against what we're writing now? And I think I can speak for both of us when I say, well, for me, I was actually pretty blown away about how good what we were doing back then was, and that gave me a lot of confidence in terms of moving forward with doing this with Ed.
That's great, because I know that there are things I've written that long ago that make me nauseous when I so that's awesome that you have that like kind of consistency through time, like you know, that's really cool.
I'm
I
sure
wanted
we've
to
had
talk.
some stuff
Oh, I'm
that's
sorry.
made us nauseous as well. Yeah.
Well, we've tried to take out the bits that make us nauseous and replace them with something that's a little bit better.
Well, none of it. I listened to the track Silver on Spotify, and I thought the atmosphere of it matches up with that idea of it being, you know, sci-fi and conceptual, because I was just trying to kind of like relate, like, where's the music fit in with that description of it. Now the rhythm, it's got like a funkiness, a shuffling sort of to it. But when I say shuffling, that almost implies like a looseness. It's really tight and it's awesome, but it's got like a feel to it. So I really dig that. And also another thing I enjoy about the song, that it's like a reminder that the empty spaces are as important as the filled spaces, because you have some breakdowns in there with just some kind of like individual notes, and I'm like, that's really cool. It just reminds me that the spaces are important too, you know.
Thanks, bro.
There's time changes to it, there's funkiness to it, and there's some nice vocal harmonies. I was wondering how you guys divide up those duties amongst yourselves there.
On Silver, I think I did some harmonies in the bridge, but it's actually our producer Adam Sedgwick that does like that really high harmony on the last chorus, and I think I'm backing him a bit lower on that bit. But harmony singing's really difficult for me. I can do an okay job on lead vocals, so this project I've had to really, like, when it comes to my harmonies, I lock myself away in my studio at home here, and I just practice and practice and practice getting them to fit in with what Ed's singing. I think Ed is the natural singer amongst us.
But you know, we've got I think it's 3 tracks, Adam, 3 or 4 tracks where you're doing the main vocal essentially.
But for the album, I'm on a few tracks, and again,
that great.
That's a deliberate decision, because we both like stuff where there's not just one singer. You mentioned space between the music. We're both massive Floyd nuts. Okay. So, you know, leaving lots of space and having multiple different singers in the band, I always find it adds some variety and depth to it, where if you're hearing one voice the whole time, it can get a bit monotonous. Now, Ed's got an amazing voice, but just to break that up with my terrible voice every now and again, and then you can sort of play off of that in terms of creating these characters, because these songs, particularly for the album, they kind of revolve around 2 or 3 characters that go through some transformations and some changes along their journey into this dystopian, technocratic, transhumanist society that we sort of laying out as a bit of a warning that, you know, hey guys, this could be how things go if we're not careful.
I mean, it's like, obviously the album has a unifying concept that runs through it. Are there any outliers on the album, or is every song part of that narrative?
I'd say every song's part of the narrative, but they're all very different in terms of composition and structure. You know, we've got everything from like the harder rock stuff like we've done on Silver, all the way down to, we've tried to create this weird like jazz speakeasy atmosphere on one of the tracks. So, you know, double bass, like everything sounding really far away, just a piano and a double bass. So
almost like a dreamscape kind of.
Cool.
Yeah, and then we've got acoustic stuff. You know, it's we try and use the full range. I think Ed and I really like bands that have a range to them, and they can take you from one extreme to the other. So, you know, that's kind of, well, personally what I'm aiming for. And Ed, jump all over me if I'm talking rubbish here.
Now you have another single coming September 8th, is that, or 8th September? Is that correct? And that's Aura.
That's Aura, yeah.
Is it okay to talk in detail about that one, or?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so that was
Okay,
that was
because
recorded.
before.
Carry on.
Oh, I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
Ed.
Oh no, but just because before you had spoken about how like there's a piano piece and that there's something more delicate, and I totally noticed that the difference. In fact, in my notes, I have like, these are two very different songs. I love the piano, by the way. I just want to qualify that I'm a piano player myself.
Mhm.
I thought that the piano sound is top notch on the recording. So I just wanted to mention that. I'm just partial to piano intros
I
and
should
piano
just
songs.
jump in and say, yeah, the
Yeah,
piano was actually played by one of our collaborators, Paul Terry. He's a grade A classical musician, and I think you can hear that in his
yeah,
performance. He did a really great arrangement of the chords on that song. And yeah, I think that one both of us have said we're really happy with the way that turned out, because it had
It was
always
a
been
guitar
done
song.
on guitar before, and it
Yeah.
was a bit of like, let's see how this goes. We've got the afternoon to do this. We've only got Paul for a number of hours, and we wanted to get 2 songs done, and it was just, yeah, he just knocked it out of the park. It was great.
I agree with that. Definitely. I'm not a top-notch grade A classical pianist, but I was classically trained, so my ear just picked up. I'm like, that doesn't sound like a plugin. Like that sounds like somebody who's playing beautifully and playing on a beautifully sounding whatever it is, keyboard, piano, whatever. But so I just locked into that right away.
It
I
was a,
also,
it was a, sorry,
I'm
I
sorry.
just wanted to say something on that. It was a really great recording experience for me. Well,
Yeah,
number one, because I didn't really have to do anything. I just sat there and listened, but we had Ed and Paul in the studio together. So Ed was singing along as he played. And I think that really comes across in the track, because we do a lot of
right.
tracking separately and together.
Sure.
We try and do as much together as we can, but with that one having, I mean, Ed overdubbed the vocal again afterwards, but just to have that piano and vocal playing together, I think it really brought that song together for me.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
yeah, beautiful. Like I said, beautiful playing on that. Um, and I think that the song masterfully kind of like subtly swells and then it backs off a little bit. It swells to
Yeah.
like an intensity and then backs off. Is that what you guys were going for?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, you get that intense bit towards the end, and then as you say, it kind of like comes back and just reveals this really beautiful, gentle piece of music, I think, at the end.
I think we're
And
both a fan
yeah,
of a crescendo, aren't we, Ed?
we are a
Yeah.
fan of the
And
crescendo.
and the decrescendo though too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm kind of patting myself on the back over here for coming up with such an apt review of of your work. In
We love
fact,
it. You can write about us anytime.
yeah, I came up with this very if you ask me, very clever phrase for your work on this song. It has an emotional dexterity to it. How do you like that?
Can we quote you on that? Can we stick that
Yeah,
on
of
the
course, you
Instagram?
certainly can.
Amazing.
That's yours. Emotional dexterity. Okay. Yeah, and if you forget it or
Fantastic.
whatever, I'll just email it to you later or something.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down in my phone.
Yeah, it's in my notes. But no, and but in all, I mean, I'm making fun of myself, but in all seriousness, I really saw all these qualities in the piece, and I'm excited for you guys for the song to come out. I really am.
We've been it's been fun as well, because we've been working on videos for them. So there's a video for Silver up on YouTube
Oh,
that we did a lot of work on.
and that's also on the Spotify as well, right? Doesn't
There's
it
a
appear,
clip
or
on the
is it clip?
Spotify of it. Yeah,
It's a
I
clip.
think you get
Okay,
about
yes,
8 seconds
I
of it or
noticed that.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I thought that was pretty cool too. I meant to mention that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, we
Um,
did a whole kind of story with that. So yeah, that's on YouTube, and there'll be one coming out with Aura as well.
awesome. I'm looking forward to that. And if you guys, just share those links with me, I'll in turn share them on to the Lionel audience
Awesome, thank
as
you.
well.
Thanks so
Um,
much.
yeah, of course. Um, I'm just thinking about, well, one of the things, I think it was Adam that said it was, oh, I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting and listening in the studio. That's huge though. Like when you're around folks that are, doing something that you don't have I guess, whatever in your own playbook or on your own palette, just sit in and listen and absorb it. It makes, that's a huge experience. That's what I'm
I was
learning.
ready to jump in at any minute if it wasn't right. That's
Yeah.
but I didn't
But
have to. That was the one time.
yeah,
I've
but I
still got
think
a lot
that
of work
that's
to do on the
but I
album.
think that that's such a valuable part of the experience, is just to intake what's going on too, and then you have that for the future. Anytime you're in this.
I think I made a comment to Adam at the time that I was kind of blown away hearing this song that had been written on a guitar, 25 years ago, that was now being played by this piano player and sounded amazing.
Sure, I'm sure it opened up like new avenues just for the piece. So I had a similar experience myself too. So I understand what you're saying. Sometimes the piano, just can open up some transitions or some bridges or to some different things. So it's a gateway. The piano really is, because it just connects to every other instrument.
Well, I have to say as well, Paul was the one who said this should really have some bass on it. I wasn't going to put any bass on it at all, and then he said, "Oh no, this really needs some at the end just to get that build up." And I'm glad he suggested that. So yeah, it all came together really well in the end.
No, I'm looking forward to that. September 8th, Aura. I'm going to ask you guys as we start to wrap this up. I want to see if you would just indulge me a little bit, because I grew up a big fan of science fiction, of course, fiction, reading, literature, and also movies and everything. Can you guys throw out some examples? I mean, I know you mentioned AI before in the short story that it came from, but do you have any other examples of just books or movies or whatever that you like that that fit in that genre?
Philip K. Dick, all of his work, particularly
okay, I'm sorry, I missed that.
The trilogy, particularly. I love the sci-fi angle mixed with his deep obsession with the nature of reality. That really has spoken to me a lot. And well, the other one I'd throw in actually is the Red Dwarf books. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but everyone thinks of Red Dwarf as like this hilarious comedy, which it is on TV, but the books are actually pretty serious.
Okay.
And really conceptual. So those would be two big ones for me.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm a little older. I'm a little older, so these are good recommendations for me. I'm sorry.
Reading that, it's Infinity Welcomes Careful Drivers, the first Red Dwarf book. It's incredible.
Oh, cool. That sounds cool.
And I mean, movie-wise, you can write home about it. Really, all the great sci-fi movies there are out there. I mean, we watched them all.
Okay.
Took them all in.
Yeah, no, it's just such an imaginative. It's such an imaginative genre that always has like a morality somewhere in it.
Yeah.
There's always a cautionary tale, or there's always something like that attached to it. So I think that's pretty cool.
I've always said with Star Trek, it's just like human problems but put into space.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think a lot of sci-fi, that's what it is. It's a way of talking about human dilemmas that we have now or are gonna have soon, and reframing it in a way that you can explore it in a way that doesn't bother people so much, because it feels like fiction and really far ahead in the future, whereas actually a lot of it's quite allegorical and relevant to what we're doing now. And I think you can see that as the years have gone on, and how close we've got to some of those films of the 80s.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I mean, RoboCop's just around the corner.
Yeah, certainly. That's why I'm watching my ass
already.
Yeah, that's why I'm playing it straight over here. So, guys, like I said before, I knew just from meeting you briefly on Instagram through social media, I thought these guys are going to be an enjoyable chat to have, and I think it's been so. So I'm really pleased that you guys had the opportunity to jump on here with me and introduce the LINL audience to your music and what's out there and what's coming and all that. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is actually our first radio interview as this combination. So yeah, thank you so much, and we're happy to be.
Well, on behalf of LINL Radio, I must say it's a great place to start. So
maybe I get that feeling too.
Yeah. So if and this is just for the audience here, if you're listening to this on LINL Radio, stay tuned, because the couple of tracks that we talked about are going to hit right as soon as I sign off here. If you're viewing this on LionelRadio.com or the Native Son Music Channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all those kind of nice things that we need to do. And appreciate it. And like I said, guys, if you could just hang out for a minute. Thank you, everybody. And I'll be back. I got another interview actually coming. So